precious treasures? Yes, yay, guys. And they're beautiful, too. They're all dressed up, too. I like the crowns. Did you see the crowns? What a great honor to be here in this hallowed ground. I mean, can't you just feel that good things have happened here? Good things have happened that bring us all together so that we can stand together as a nation. And you know, Nuns on the Bus, we've been to a whole bunch of states now, but we picked up some Colorado folks. Or I picked up some Colorado. They actually picked me up at the airport. But the thing about Colorado for me that's really special is that my folks were born and raised and lived in Denver until they went west. My dad wanted to work on airplanes during World War II, so they went west. But we came back every summer to visit relatives. And I told some of you this, coming to the Springs was always a high point because, you know, that was right near the mountains and it was really beautiful. But for me to be back kind of connects my roots. And this is a time in our history where we really need to remember both our past and to look to our future with hope and to know that we as a nation are all about community. All about standing together, not standing alone. Some politicians want us to think that it's only individuals take care of their individual selves. That is not our democracy.
No, it's not.
Democracy means that we come together to solve our problems. Democracy means that when you solve our problems, we create some systems to work with it. That, my friends, is called government. So when you try to undercut government, you're undercutting our democracy. Because the fact is, some would like us to think that only the few can benefit in our nation because, oh my heavens, it's scarce out there. There's a real trouble. Well, there's trouble, but trouble that only can be dealt with if we do it together. We, the people of the United States, are the ones that can make the difference. It's not just we the politicians or we the, I don't know what, we the super rich, we the folks who turn up. It's all of us together have to do this. Now in D.C., Congressman Paul Ryan, oh my heavens, it's a challenge. Congressman Paul Ryan proposed this budget that was all about individualism. He said that we didn't have enough money, that we were going bankrupt as a nation. The richest nation on earth is not bankrupt. I say the only thing we're bankrupt in is political will to engage with some of the problems. But the fact is, Congressman Ryan's interpretation is we're so bankrupt that, you know, we have to cut these social programs. We have to cut programs for those amazing 4-year-olds, for all of the folks that get served here at the center. We have to cut those programs because they're a problem so we can have those programs years from now. So we don't feed poor people, we don't feed people now, but we'll feed them in 20 years. I don't know how that works. The fact is that there's an alternative. And we were just arguing against the Ryan budget. We just kept saying no. And then finally the interfaith community in D.C. came together in December last year, almost a year ago. And we said, you know, we need to create an alternative because you can't just say no. We have to do the hard work. So we worked for 3 months to create a faithful budget, an alternative way forward that was created by the Jewish, Christian, and Muslim community in D.C. to say that there is an alternative. We, the people, can have an alternative. Yes. All right, now my chorus, are you, well, my chorus is a bit parched back here. Okay, some of my chorus is out here. Okay, now it's 55 glorious pages that you can find at faithfulbudget.org, but it boils down to 5 words, and the chorus is going to say it for us. Reasonable revenue for responsible programs. Got it? Okay. Now let's hear it from you.
Reasonable revenue for responsible programs.
Oh, wow, you're great. Okay. Well, reasonable revenue. What does that mean? The politicians don't want to tell you this, but quite frankly, we have to raise taxes. Let's be real. The Bush-era tax cuts. Remember in the 2000, most of us are old enough to remember the 2000 election, the big thing was, what do we do with our surplus? Where did that conversation go? So we decided on 2 huge tax cuts that went principally to those at the top. Do you know the top 1% or 2%, the top 2% income has grown 120% over the last 30 years, while the middle class, the middle group, has grown only 11%. And you know what? Those at the bottom 20%, in 30 years, their income has gone down 7%. So who has the capacity to pay a little bit more? It's not a lot. It's some more. But it will be a big help to our society, are those at the top who've benefited the most from our amazing economy in our amazing country. We need to invest for the future. Those who can do it should pay in. It's only fair. Tax fairness is what this is about. The second point is we all contribute. How do we contribute? We contribute by paying our regular taxes, being involved like today, caring for kids like these 4-year-olds. We all contribute to build up our society. Reasonable revenue is one way forward. But the other piece is about responsible programs. Responsible programs are like these programs here that take a little bit of government money, take a little bit of private donations, take volunteer time, take certification, take all these things, and they put them together to create amazingly responsible programs. Social service programs are the most responsible programs in the U.S. federal budget. And so we need to promote that responsibility. But we need to require responsibility from all the programs, including the Pentagon, including the Department of Commerce, including the State Department. All departments need to be as responsible as these social service programs. And one other piece on this Veterans Day, and here close to the Air Academy, is we need to be especially concerned. It breaks my heart that we chose to wage 2 wars in the last decade, and we continue to wage one. And yet we did not choose to pay one dime to protect our men and women in uniform. To me, that was wrong. We as a nation need to stand with our men and women in uniform, stand with our veterans. We may have different opinions on the wars, but we stand with our people. We are faithful to the people who put their lives on the lines for us when asked to do so. And we did not pay for it. We need to pay now. We need to be responsible and pay for our veterans coming back. Support them. Care for them. They have suffered enough. My sister was pinned to a guy at the Air Academy, and she died before they could get engaged and married. But I got to see him on the first Nuns bus trip. And Bill was shot down. He was an air pilot in Vietnam, shot down, was a prisoner of war, has horrible stories. But he told me that the Veterans Affairs, the Veterans Bureau, the healthcare saved his life physically, but saved his life psychologically, because that's been the hardest part, to deal with the trauma that he experienced. And when I think of all of the men and women who come back and have the same story, we need to care for them, all of the bills. We need to make sure that they are cared for. So reasonable revenue for responsible programs, that is the way forward. So Colorado, you've done some fabulous piece of work. We have a bit more work to do. The election is over, and we might all think, oh, praise God, we don't have to watch those ads anymore. But the fact is, our work has just begun, because tomorrow, Congress reconvenes. God help us. I mean, I sort of tease and think D.C. was safe before. Now it's going back to being trouble, but it's also going back to the time when our voice is most needed. So I call on you, Colorado, stand up, speak your mind, be for reasonable revenue for responsible programs, because we, the people of the United States, can make a difference if we stand together. That's the way forward, is we, our community, together we can make a difference. Thank you so much.